Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Junior. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm US Jester. Today we are going to be reviewing three figures from McFarlane, the Anti-Monitor, the Justice Buster, and the Catman. Now, I had initially ordered this from Amazon, and as you guys know, it's going for $40 roughly. And this was a McFarlane exclusive. So I know there's one coming out right now that has the plastic cape, but I really prefer this one because I prefer the cloth cape than the plastic. It's easier to display. So I know I needed to get this one, and I was going to end up paying shipping for it. I decided to check the prices on these two, which ended up being $34 each instead of the 40. Of course, except Amazon doesn't have, Amazon has free shipping, and this was gonna have shipping. Fortunately, there is that McFarlane code. I think it's MTS 10 or something like that, and it basically took off 10% of whatever the value is. So the shipping was $9.80. The discount code took out $9.50. So it basically negated the shipping prices. So in the end, I paid $36 for each. No, $34 for each of this, and then the $25 for Catman. So, but this was a bundle, and I knew I had to pay shipping for that one, so that completely got rid of the shipping charges and all that stuff. So it ended up being $107 with tax included. So it was a better deal for me. Anyway, now let's go to the actual review, and we're going to be doing a value comparison as well, right? So this is $40, or in my case, $34. Look how big this guy is. This guy is massive, right? Very, very detailed. Much more detailed than the original Justice Buster from Mattel that was a Build-A-Figure. Obviously, it's much more paint detailed. We know that because it's a McFarlane figure. The articulation of the head is really kind of weird. It's basically on that small joint, but it has that long peg, so the head can move like forward like that if you want to, or raise it a little bit. So it kind of changes the demeanor of that, the whole thing. I'm not really a big fan of the design of this one. But it is a cool robot looking thing. It will be, if this ever goes down on price, I might, like half off or maybe 70% off on Amazon. I might buy another one just so I can customize it and see if I can color out the interior and add a figure to it if it's possible. I just need to move this ruler out of the way. So look at the chest detail. I really love this one right here. The design is simple for me, but this one really does make it stand out. The small bat logos around the area. The detail on this one. Paint is very, very minimal. This is painted mostly bare plastic. And that's moldy on the nape of the neck just to make it stand out a little bit. It's got this jet thrusters over here. The hands are not articulated, but it kind of looks just like that. And then the feet is over here. It stands well on its own, like the really kind of like a riveted, armored looking toes over there. It does have a waist swivel. This is soft plastic, not rubber. It does hinder the articulation a little bit, but the hands, shoulder goes up to there. There's a bicep cut. It's ratcheted elbows, but it's only up to 90 degrees. The hands are basically like static. As you can see, it's all sculpted in there. There's no movement on the hands or fingers. You can see how the ball joint is and the peg system works on the legs. It's kind of exposed. I wish there was something to cover it up, like waist plates or something like that. The legs will only go up that high. You can see how this thing is made, so the articulation goes like that, but then you have this another articulation down here, kind of make it look like a chicken leg. The ankle, let's see how the ankle does. Actually, there is no ankle movement on this thing. It's all sculpted in. So everything you have comes off of this one joint over here that makes it move a little bit like that. So this whole thing becomes basically the foot. One surprising thing about this figure is how light it is. I normally don't care about how light the figure is, but this one is really quite light. I mean, the moment I picked it up, I was surprised, because if you guys have had McFarlane Megafigs, you know how dense it is, how heavy it is. It's surprisingly dense. This feels like kind of like a regular Hasbro Build-A-Figure, fairly light. I wanted to weigh it compared to this one, but my scale is out of charge. Like I said, I don't really care about the weight as much. It looks phenomenal. The only reason I bring it up is because with that weight difference, I do wonder how it's constructed inside. Like, is it hollow inside here or anything like that, or especially that ball joint. But then it's just one big massive peg, ball joint peg over there. But it is kind of loose. But for what it is, it's a pretty good figure. There's nothing else. There's no accessories or anything, no extra hands, because it's sculpted in there. It's just got the card and the usual plate display stand. But I mean, if you were good at customizing the paint job on this one, this will stand out more. But as it is, as a shelf presence, it's really good for its price. Now we're gonna go into the anti-monitor over here. You can see this one is the Mattel Build-A-Figure, and I was quite surprised that the Mattel figure is actually slightly higher than McFarlane's. This design, I can't remember if this was his final design when he was like fighting the Creator, and he was putting his hand out and he was fighting the Spectre in the end of Infinite Crisis, because I don't really recall him having this one with this kind of design. This is what I recall him as. But then again, I also don't remember if this was the design for because the anti-monitor came back on DC like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, fighting Darkseid. I don't know if this was a design for him. So initially, on its own, it looks really, really good. It's got the usual anti-monitor details, $34 or $40, and all that stuff. It does have this, again, soft plastic over here, but you still have the articulation that's in the shoulder. It doesn't have that ring that we usually have for McFarlane figures. I don't know if he ever incorporated that in his Megafigs, but you still have the articulation. These things, they don't really hinder the articulation. They're soft enough, and the joints are strong enough on their own that they're not, like, see how they're not being pulled back by the rubber hoses. This is really kind of almost too loose, but it still holds the pose. Okay, but it's really easy to move. But the elbow does have that double jointed ratchet movement. It does have a ball joint over there, so you can have that movement on the abdomen, and the waist is limited, so all your movement is going to come from the top one, which is that's fine for me like that. It's really, really nice. Now, obviously, because of the skirt design, it does hinder it a little bit, but it's made out of rubber, so you can move it up like that, except it goes off to the side, as we all know. There is no articulation in the thigh. You again have the double jointed ratcheted on the knees, and because they're strong, it doesn't hinder the movement or prevent it from staying the pose. This is really good, a really, really good figure. Again, a proper paint job would even make this more tremendous. The only thing I would say about this is, like, look at how big his feet are. His feet are huge. I mean, okay, it's not that much bigger than the Mattel one, but the Mattel are notorious for having huge feet. Um, you know what though? I prefer the mouth action that's going on in the Mattel because that he had that in the comics. And I, even though it's stickers, I prefer this one. It seems more livelier than actually sculpting it. There was really no reason to sculpt it. I think the stickers would have been much more better. I mean, texture-wise, it looks better. It might look more interesting, but you compare it to the Mattel one, you have paint job here, this stick over here, and then a little bit more detail on the helmet. But and you know, if you didn't have if you didn't have this, you might be okay with this one. But honestly, I don't know how or if he's able to, if McFarlane will be able to uh, create this on a bigger scale. I would love that. Like maybe like a, it seems too small for me because you know, he's a multiverse killing figure, and he's relegated to the same size as any regular megafig. In fact, he seems smaller. I mean, he's smaller, obviously, than the Justice Buster. But he's about the same size as any regular megafig from McFarlane. But he's smaller than Doomsday, the one with Superman vs. Doomsday. So he's okay for 40 bucks. He's okay. Now, in terms of value, I'm going to discuss the value of McFarlane figures before I go into Catman, because it really it is kind of irksome. So I'm going to pan a little bit. The collector edition Alan Scott Green Lantern, right? So I'm kind of okay with that because it's the first time we've ever gotten that figure. But the Action Comics #1 Superman, that's really irritating. That it's $29 and it doesn't have extra hands, and it's got that unique card display stand, but we already have that. There's just really no way that should have been a $29 figure. $29 figure for, I wanted to show it to you, but it's currently hanging and I don't want to take it down. So we'll pretend this is that Superman. $29 figure for a figure of this size that came with no hands, right? And it's a reuse. And this is a $34 figure. So this is 30, this is 34. Granted, I got a deal on it. But this is his website though. This is only his own website though, so that's its own price. But for Amazon it's $40 and this was $30. Why would you do something like that? Like the site, it's so much more bigger. Comparing to something like this with a brand new mold, or Justice Buster, completely brand new mold. I don't know if he'll ever use it. He might repaint it, I don't know. And it's really hollow, limited articulation compared to his regular size and all that stuff. But why would you make a collector edition for $30? It doesn't make sense to me. What made me more irritated was the Riddler, classic Riddler that's coming out. That guy's coming with 4 pairs of hands. That's like 8 hands with a staff or a cane. You know, it's a reused body, but I don't care. It's $19.95 and it's coming with 8 hands, 4 pairs of hands. And the Superman, the Green Lantern, just the regular hands, no extra ones, and it's $29.95. Why? Only because you put in a collector's edition stamp on it? You can't even say that it's a unique head sculpt, because look at this guy. This guy's $24. He's got a unique head sculpt. He's got an extra pair of hands, right? He's got this really intricate, close-fisted hands. It's unfortunately you can't move it, but it's really, really nicely done. Then it comes with these 2 knives in the back that you can take it out. I actually prefer this kind of sheathing than what he used to before, where it actually has a sheath but it's like hollow on the back. I prefer it that way. It's of course kind of stupid to do it that way, but you know, I mean in real life you wouldn't do that, but at least it's cool. So this is Catman. This is this is $24.95, right? So it comes with this gripping hands for the knives. And then what's on it is these hands with claws. Like I said, it's basically connected in there. You can't take it out or anything. But that's really cool though, isn't it? And then you have the face, which I think is excellent. It's got the grinning face. It's got enough paint application to make it unique. And it makes sense to do a reuse of this body. This is the body for the Nightfall Batman. This is the first time it's been reused to a different figure, but I don't mind because that's an actually excellent figure. It's great proportions and everything, and that's why this is greatly proportioned. You know, it's the Nightfall because of the creases in here, the legs and over here. If you match it to Nightfall Batman, it's exactly the same. I wanted to pull it. I could pull it out, but it's like I'm too lazy. Sorry. Trust me, it's the Nightfall Batman. The other thing I liked about this one is the cape. The cape is McFarlane on his 7-inch figures. The cape that he uses, is the cloth cape he's using, is excellent, man. I mean, I wish he would get rid of the plastic or the rubber capes. They're good when it came. They're good and useful when it came to that Batman figure, the one that's got the flowing one where he's on a graveyard, because you can't really emulate that kind of movement on a cloth cape. But that one actually came with a cloth cape as well. But I hate some of his capes because they're so billowy. They take so much space like that it's really hard to pose them side by side with a figure, because this thing is just in the way. I just, and I look at how he has the best capes cloth material that he's using. Look at how much that really drapes. And if I really want to, I can just always wire it. As you can see, I've wired that one over there. If I really want to, and if I really want to, I can actually, if I want to, I can pull off this head and this collarbone over here, because it's a separate piece. It's glued in. That's how he glued in his cape, and that's basically what I did on that Batman costume that I made. See that 1989 one? Look at how much that cape drapes down. Move this out of the way so you guys can see it's much better. See? You do that by pulling off the head and the collarbone, and then basically gluing the cape here, and then pulling this cape somewhat like this. See how it's already drooping like that? And then I glued it underneath it, and then I put it back in. And that's basically how I do it. And then if you want to kind of tighten around the figure and have it like this, then all you have to do is either kind of put a temporary clip over in the back like that. But it makes this cape like drape like this, So that's all you have to do. And cloth capes this is so much better. This material is so good, but he's using this one. So it's really a reuse of the body. Like I said, the most prominent thing is the face, which is really good. I think he's beginning to understand that it's okay to reuse bodies once in a while, especially this one over here, as long as you concentrate your efforts on the head, because the heads really do make that figure stand out. This is what basically Hasbro's been doing with their stuff. I mean, theirs is basically like crappy. Like, at least with him, he's actually still putting in the gauntlets and all that stuff. With Hasbro, they're not even doing that. They're just like painting it, which is like sloppy, lazy. He's got the basic articulation of the Nightfall, so you guys know all that stuff. I really do love this joint that he's using over here. Double jointed, very articulate, very the head goes like so. Look at that movement, man. Look, so you can do all that kind of stuff. So $25 for an extra pair of hands, I'm okay with that. Todd, you can make it $25 your figures if you give us whatever gripping hands that you have and another pair that's just close-fisted. That's all I want. And then maybe for Superman you have fly hands and then close-fisted, because you don't really need gripping hands for Superman. I mean, you can, but that'll be an extra pair, and you can jack up a little bit of the price. But $29.95 for a collector issue. He's doing the Hawkman 2000 Hawkman, or is it 2000 or 1990s Hawkman? The new 0 hour Hawkman as a collector, and I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not gonna buy Sinestro. I think that's also a collector one. I really want to, but for Hawkman, it's not classic enough for me. I don't really prefer that brown colored Hawkman. That's, like I said, that's more the 1990s 0 hour design. I would rather prefer the classic, and I feel like he's gonna repaint that, which is what he did with this one. He reissued this one with the plastic cape, even though I do prefer this one with a cloth cape. I can't support the collector line. I just can't. Only because we know he's capable of a good price point. That's what irks me. I don't know if he's learned enough from the collector's edition so that he brought down the price from $29.95, and then he brought down Riddler for $19 and this one for $25. But Riddler is like 4 pairs of hands in $19.95. Because of that figure, because of what he's doing there, I just can't support a $29 collector line just because you decided to put it up for that price. That's the only reason. What other reason could you have for putting a $29.95 price on a figure that's reusing a body? The head is at least original, but it has nothing else of value to justify it. And then you're gonna do the same thing with Sinestro. Well, the lantern and the construct, they're all reused too. The body's reused. It's a nice head, but why would you put that in a collector line? Hawkman is kind of cool, but the wings are reused too. I can kind of accept that because it's a new figure, kind of like how I accepted Alan Scott because it's a new figure. You've never had anything like that. But for Superman, as much as I love the character, that's the only reason I bought it, is because I love Superman. It's an Action Comics one. But do that to me with a Batman, I'm not gonna buy it. And Sinestro, I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy that. It's the first Sinestro in its line that's kind of classic looking, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy that. Not for that. 25 would have been stretching it for me, but 29 was just ridiculous, man. So I'll be very, very choosy with the $29.95 collector line that he's putting out. I never bought the third figure in this line. I don't know the figure. It means nothing to me, so that price was ridiculous. It doesn't matter how cool the design was that people are saying, whatever. Oh, it's cooler in hand. It's not worth $30 for a no-nonsense character I have no connection to. So that's out for me. Yeah, sorry about the rant, but and in the beginning I wasn't even thinking about the price because I saw Action Comics #1 Superman with the blue and that emblem and that face sculpt, and I saw Alan Scott. I really wanted it, so the price was like $29. I'll pay for it. But the more I realized what was going on, has been pointed out by the people, is that the more I saw, I thought that is ridiculous. So I'll be choosy with what I'm gonna buy. And I'm really betting that Hawkman is gonna sit on the sidelines. He can make that exclusive or whatever, man. If it's in Amazon, it's gonna go down in price. Not a lot of people will buy that. I don't know how many people might. Some people might because that's their version of Hawkman, but I just don't see that selling at the price as it is right now. But everything else, Justice Buster over here is a really good value. The Anti-Monitor, if you didn't have the original one, it's also good value. I wish they was taller, but you do what you can. But thank you for watching. My battery's about to go out, so I'll see you in the next review, and you have a nice day. Bye.